Hello Legacy Sabers, Marsh here. So this is the third video for the first semester final review. We're going to start at quadratic equations and functions. So these ones are asking you to factor and solve. So we're going to do some factoring and solving this time. We're going to do some, since this is a trinomial, 3 terms, we're going to do some guess and check. So I'm going to lay down my parentheses. 2 things that make x squared when I multiply. Probably be x and x, right? Because x times x is x squared. 2 things that make negative 10 when we multiply. Oh, let's go a positive 5 and a negative 2. Now I gotta remultiply, so it's x squared, negative 2x, positive 5x. This is a 5, it just looks really funky. That would make me a positive 3x, right? Which is what I wanted, and I got a negative 10. So now I do need to solve it. So I'm going to set both of them equal to 0. So x plus 5 equals 0. X minus 2 equals 0. So I'll get x equals negative 5, it looks like, and x is 2. So those will be my 2 answers. Looking on this one, first thing I noticed, they both have a 4, so I'm definitely going to factor that out. Okay, r squared minus 1. Oh, that's a difference of perfect squares, right? R squared is a perfect square, and so is 1. So I can break that into r plus 1 and r minus 1. Okay, so now I'm going to set everything equal to 0. 4 really doesn't matter, though. 4 can't be equal to 0. So r plus 1 equals 0. I'd solve. I'd get r equals negative 1. And then that one I'm going to get r is 1. So those are my 2 answers for that problem. This one I do need to get everybody on the same side. Just notice that. So I'm going to add 5x. I'm going to subtract 6 and set it equal to 0. There we go. Well, it is a trinomial, so that means I got to go like this. So 2 things that multiply to give me 4x squared. Well, 2x and 2x can do that. 3 and 2 can make me a 6. Well, a negative and a positive. So 2x times 2 is 4x. Negative 6x, that's going to give me a negative 2x. That definitely is not what I wanted, right? So we're going to erase. Who do I want to erase? Let's try a 4 and a 1 instead. Let's see if that helps us. I'm going to go 4 here and a 1 there. 4x times 2 is 8x minus 3x. There we go. There's our 5x. So I'm going to set both of my things equal to 0 because they're still asking me to solve. There's an equal sign. Okay. Add 3, divide by 4. I'm going to get 3/4 there. And negative 2 for that one. Okay, now they're asking me to solve by isolating the variable, so that means basically solve for x squared and then take the square root. So I'm going to add 7 to both sides. 5x squared. 488 plus 7 is 495. Divide by 5. Get 99, so x squared equals 99. Square root both sides. I get x equals 99 breaks into square root of 9 and square root of 11, right? Square root of 9 is 3, so plus or minus 3 square roots of 11 for my answer. Okay, this one, little bit more happening here. I do first need to subtract that 2. So I'm going to do that first. So that'll be 24. Then I'm going to divide by negative 3. Give me my negative 8. Square root, because I can't add that 3x. It's inside the squared term. So x minus 3. I gotta break down the square root of negative 8. Well, if it was 8, it'd be 2 square roots of 2, but that negative causes me to get an I, right? So I'm going to get plus or minus 2i I square root of 2. So I'm going to add 3 to the other side. There we go. That is my particular answer for that problem. Now I'm going to be working with some complex numbers. So first thing I'm going to do is distribute that negative in. So 5 plus 2i minus 2 minus 3i. Combine some like terms. 3 minus I seems to be the answer for 30. Let's do some distributive here. Got 8. 2 times 4. 2 times I is 2i. Negative 4i and negative I squared. I'm going to combine some like terms. Ooh, I squared is negative 1, so negative 1 would be a plus 1, right? So let's combine. I'm going to get 9 minus 2i for that particular problem. Now I got to think I to the 54th. Remember, if you wanted to simplify exponents on i's, you had to take the exponent and divide by 4. So if I do that, I'm going to get 3. I'm going to get a remainder of 2, and that's what we wanted to know. If it was a remainder of 2, then that would give me I squared. So technically, I can rewrite this as I squared instead of I to the 54th. Well, I squared is negative 1, so this is technically just good old Mr. 4. And then we had to worry about dividing by i's. So I'm going to multiply the top and the bottom by the denominator's complex conjugate. So basically all you're doing is changing the sign to the opposite. So I had a negative, I'm making a positive. So I'm going to distribute to the top. So 6i plus 18i squared. Now I got to worry about the bottom. So 9 plus 27i minus 27i minus 81i squared. Well, those guys cancel off. This is a negative 1, right? So that's 6i, positive 6i, minus 18 all over, well, this is a positive 81, so that's 90, right? That would be a positive 81 plus 9, 90. I think I could take a 3 out of everybody, so that would be 2i minus 9 over 45. Now solve by completing the square. Remember, the very first thing you had to solve by completing the square, you had to make sure you had a 1 in front of the x squared. Notice, we don't. So I'm going to divide everybody by 2. So I'm going to get x squared plus 4x plus 7, which is equal to 0. Then I'm going to kick the 7 to the other side. That. Let's take the number, the b term, divide it by 2 and square. That's how we find our blank. So b divided by 2 squared. So this will be 4, right? Because 4 divided by 2 is 2. 2 squared is 4. Now I'm going to factor x squared plus 4x plus 4. That is x plus 2 squared, right? Because that's x plus 2, x plus 2. That would give me that. Negative 3. Start solving, so I'm square up both sides. Plus or minus I square root of 3, it looks like. Subtract 2. And I'll get my answer there. Quadratic formula now. Gotta write that down. Negative d plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. There we go. So I know a is 2, b is 3, and c is negative 12. Notice they're all on the same side. Gotta check that too. So it'd be negative 3 plus or minus the square root of 9. because that's 3 squared, minus 4 times 2 times negative 12 all over 4, 2 times a is 2. Let's figure out what that actually turns into. So negative 3 plus or minus the square root of so negative 4 times 2 times negative 12 is positive 96. So I'm going to add 9 to that. We're going to get 105 divided by 4. 105, does he have a perfect square, I wonder? I don't believe he does. Nope, no perfect square for 105. So I just get to leave it like this for my answer. And that is the end of this video. Please go on to the 4th and final video for the first semester final review. I'll see you there. See you later, Sabers.